lost in that area. I'm relaying the latest intercepted transmissions now. Give me your best judgment.
Alright guys, Lost Planet 2 launches on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 worldwide on 11th of May, but myself, James Day, our current intern, and Mark Walton sat next to me, all got the chance to jump in and play a co-op match as well as some competitive multiplayer. James, the original Lost Planet, I remember playing it a lot online, but now it's been expanded. We jumped into this arena mode and played with some new custom characters which are only available on the Xbox 360.
That's right. Yeah, in the 360 version at least, we've got two of the guys from Gears of War, Dom and Marcus, Albert Wesker from Resident Evil series, and Frank West from Dead Rising, which is all quite bizarre yet interesting additions to the multiplayer.
And as we saw in our demo, you can camp them up like anything. You can stick a bear backpack, a teddy bear backpack onto Frank.
Yep.
You can make Dom do loads of feminine poses. It's just basically my dream, really. Always wanted to see him like
basically Japan the game, taking these serious macho guys from an action game and giving them girly like blowing kisses, emotes and stuff like that.
So you jumped into the multiplayer. You played against Mark, teaming up with someone from Capcom. Some may say that was pretty unfair, but tell us about what weapons you used, how you found the multiplayer.
Okay, so this time around you get to sort of kit out your guy before you go into the game. So Leo unlocked all these special weapons for us, like, you know, level 2 snipers, level 2 machine guns, that sort of stuff, and the comedy love gun, of course. But yeah, the mode we played at least was kind of a standard deathmatch thing that you've probably seen in Lost Planet 1, but of course there were the VS suits spread around as well to use. So yeah, it's just a typical deathmatch from what we played.
So Mark, you can jump into a large mech suit, which is, you know, it's pretty powerful, but it slows you down. Or they've got these light armoured suits, so you can just jump in and kind of get the benefit of extra armour without being slowed down.
Absolutely. And the light armour suits were particularly useful because, you know, you could, if someone was in a big mech suit, even though they had they move really slowly basically, and you could pick up a grenade launcher and put on the armour, and by the time they shot your armour off, you'd gotten in enough grenade launcher shots to kind of blow them up. What's interesting about the game is when you're in a match, you don't have specific weapons you pick up. You have a specific weapon type, so that might be light weapon, heavy weapon, medium, and you customise what type of weapon it is when you pick it up in your customisation screen. And as well as that, you know, you've got all like the kind of funny headgear and stuff you can give them. There's ones that like kind of look a bit like Predator, with like big dreads at the back and a big face mask on. And then obviously you've got like the really, really funny ones. And making Dom and Marcus do the feminine poses is just
prancing around.
It is really, really funny.
It's almost RPG-like now because all these unlocks that we've talked about, like the new weapons, the new armour and stuff like that, is all unlocked by levelling up your guy. So the more you play, the more of this cool stuff you're going to get.
As well as the multiplayer competitive modes, we also got to jump into the co-op modes and play some of the game's campaign. Mark, we jumped in about 4 chapters into the game. It was kind of dark. It was, you know, heavy combat, mech suit action. What did you reckon? Did you enjoy it?
I think one of the great things is when you kind of have to work together as a team, especially when you're trying to find some of the goals later on. Like there's these big posts, data posts that you have. And you kind of have to mash the circle button to get them. But if you get your team around them and all mash circle button, it makes it much quicker. Yeah. Which it makes it especially easier if you're getting attacked by like a load of enemies at once. You want to get those posts kind of ticked over like as soon as possible. And the other great thing in the single player I found was the big boss battles. They're kind of really exciting. You know, you come around a corner and suddenly by like this huge acrid will be right in front of you, and you kind of have to aim for these yellow parts on his body, and those are the weak points, and that's where you shoot at, and then his legs will come off, or his arms will come off, or whatever, and you kind of just all take him down gradually. And I thought that was really, really good fun.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the original that seems to have been ramped up even more in the second game, in as much as you're just taking on these huge things that you see them and you're like, oh my god, how am I going to take this down?
Absolutely.
And it's very dependent on you working together to do that. Tell us about the co-op mechs.
Well, the mechs are really interesting. You know, like when you kind of basically they're huge things, and you climb in, and on the sides there's like 2 other seats. There's one on the left and one on the right. So like 2 other of your teammates can get in, and then one of you pilots it, and you've got control of the main gun, while the other 2 kind of have control of the sidearms that are on the mech. and it kind of just lumbers along. It's quite slow, but it's really, really powerful because you've got all three of you like with these great big guns, and you're surrounded by the armour of the mech. So you're kind of going around, and they're really great for taking out a big load of troops at once, and then taking on like the other mechs that the enemy might have.
James, the game still seems to be heavily based around thermal energy, collecting that to keep you powered up. Is that a good thing? Do you think it gets tiresome having to keep collecting that stuff?
That was always one of my bothers with the first game, that to get in like the mechs and keep them powered up, you did need to keep grabbing this energy that came out of enemies and boxes and whatnot. But we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, thanks very much, guys. Lost Planet 2, as we said, is available on the 11th of May. It's available initially on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and will launch on the PC at some time later.